people aware of the time passing? No. No, but you would be able to tell. Meliam would be able to tell from the state of her holy place. So she's teleported from somewhere. She arrived somewhere, but it's visibly time has passed. So she wouldn't know exactly how long unless she asks Thendro. We're not going to get into roleplay down to the level of like conversations. So we can just assume she's able to pick up this information either from these followers or from the setting itself. I think that's a safe assumption. So. Let me get back over here. I should have not duplicates of the same tab open, probably. All right, Meliam, who had just arrived after a terrible betrayal. Learned it had been hundreds of years. Well, let's figure out how many years it's been. That's kind of relevant. So let's say it could be anywhere from 100, because the cult's been around for like 50 and we knew that Meliam wasn't involved yet. So it could be that, well, let's figure out actually. The cult of Meliam was seemingly first established in 550. So it could be that the cult began to spread after turning on her and taking power. And apparently a successful ritual completed in 565. So let's say sometime within we'll say these are the years. So yeah, fairly self-interested, so she immediately be suspicious and demand proof that he is loyal to her. Okay, cool. Games with Katie, do you think is this proof that he's loyal to her? Is this like a test? Will he give Thendro a mission and have them go off to accomplish something and then declare them her champion? Roll that. 376. So Meliam is a sorcerer of great power who was for many years, who was since, we'll say from 376 until 784. A mission? Yeah, okay. Meliam is a sorcerer of great power who was, from 376 until 784, trapped absent to the world due to teleportation. Sounds good. Yeah, so it has been hundreds of years. Quite the mind trip for Meliam, I'm sure, even as a powerful sorceress. Should sort of escape. She immediately grew suspicious of these new followers and tasked Thendro with a mission to prove his loyalty. Okay, so what kind of mission do we want to give Thendro? A couple things that come to my mind anyway is, well, let me call up the map here for you guys to give you an idea of what's been going on. So here's the known world of Gethra, and the cult for the longest time was based in Ith. Sorry, let me close that back out. Here, Ith. And as it spread out from Ith, it eventually came to rule everywhere from the Eye of Maga, over here on the Elder Coast, all the way down into the Great Sea and around the Great Isle, or the Grey Sea, I should say, and all of Radrigar. However, its previous leader, a man named Bara Pitane, grew more and more deranged the longer he ruled the cult, to the point that it began to fracture, with some people starting to doubt his right to rule. And there are now different groups of this cult with their own little beliefs and stuff. So there's like a group that's around the southern coast and Varnordos. There's a group that is the rest of Radrigar in the Great Isles, or in the Isles down here. And then there's the version that was under Pitane himself, which is in Ith. And Thendro has taken control of that group. However, then, right after that, somebody within, as soon as Thendro came into power, someone else said, well, I think I could do this better. Would Melian be aware? I don't think she would be aware of that yet, unless Thendro filled her in. But I think, yeah, I like if I mean, there's a question, Thendro or Corbo, if Melian asked you for information, would Thendro give it? We've established that Thendro bowed and accepts Melian as his leader right away. So would he give any information that she asked? Yeah, I thought that would make sense. So yes, so I think Games with Kitty, I think Melian would know all of this information. So yeah, so perhaps what came to my mind as a mission to prove Thendro's loyalty is have Thendro at least deal with the guy who just kicked him out of Ith. He's come out of Ith, gone to this holy sanctuary somewhere in the wilds, and met Melian. And Melian is like, oh, this cult is fractured, and you just retreated. So prove your loyalty by succeeding where you just failed. So that would be one mission. Another mission could be to go out and perform, crush a small faction, bring them to heel. Okay, yeah. So, Thendro, Corbo, what's the plan? Let me go back to the map again. You tried to take out what was his name? Tried to take out Olganth once already. The proper way to worship for this cult, definitely yes. Take over a small part of the cult. So are you going to avoid going directly against Olganth and instead just try to bring more followers in and sway some other places? Like you could go to like Vagrin or Hyrena, another city, and try to bring some people. Okay, yeah, that's kind of a good way to do it because we kind of failed against Olganth once already, so we don't want to risk. Thendro would want to be careful. All right, so Melian immediately grew suspicious of these new followers and tasked Thendro with a mission to prove his loyalty. Bring one of these sub-factions back into control, back under control. Thendro did just this and sought out another city so as not to confront Olganth immediately. All right. Well, let's see. Which city would you target? We know that the holy site is somewhere near Ith, so the nearest cities would be Vagrin, Elikar, Hyrena. I think Vagrin is most likely to be related to Olganth because these cities are very close. But you could go somewhere else. It also depends because there's these other bigger factions, so encroaching on their territory could also draw some ire. No worries. The other thing, Games with Kitty, with how our show works here, is you guys can feel free to tune in and tune out as you need. If we can't get a decision from you guys, we'll either delay that decision, or worst case scenario, if we go for a few sessions and I can't hear, like if you don't have to tune in every single time if you don't want. So if we don't hear from you for a bit, maybe we'll just have a second name associated with that character. So maybe Melian will get played by two people instead of one. But that's only going to be if if we absolutely need something from Melium and we can't get a hold of you. So yeah, there's really no worries. You don't have to feel obligated um, to settle it first. Cool. The one near the sea, out here in Elakar? Awesome. Okay. Thundra targeted Elakar for this mission. All right. Let's see. How does Thendra's mission in Elakar go? So I guess Thendra, Corbo, what is the plan for how you want to go about converting the city? You could approach it economically and make some sort of deal with the leadership that shows it'll be profitable for them to follow the cult, and specifically your version of the cult. You could approach it through persuasion. Here, let me put down some options here for you. Persuasion, you could try to convince them the other cults are phony. Try to convince them you're the legit one. Economic could be in their best interest to side with the cult in the long run, since it's so powerful. Could be subversion. Having agents target key members of opposition and forcing the city to obey. Could be show of power, which would be, a ritual or magic that would force or persuade the city. There's some good options. What do you think would be a good one for Thunder to pursue? Started off so slow tonight, but we've got a few people here chatting. That's great. No worries. You didn't miss anything yet, Games Kitty. We're trying to see how Thendra will handle his mission. The mission Melium gave him. Economic. Okay, cool. All right, so how does Thunder's mission in Elakar go? Well, we could have his suggestions turn a quick profit. And the city is easily swayed. Also, you guys who are a little newer here, always feel free to suggest options as well while I'm making these roll tables. If you come up with something you think that'd be a cool option, I can throw it on here. We actually had one of our regulars, Bobicus. He kept putting things on the randomizers, and they would just get rolled almost every time, whatever he suggested. And I was like, I don't know how that's happening, but it was cool and fortunate for him in some cases. His suggestions turn a quick profit, and the city is easily swayed. Could be hinges on a particular merchant or magnet, someone who's in great power there. Could be his suggestions lead to fiscal loss, so it doesn't go as well as planned. Playing to their greed is wise, yeah. could be it works, but on a long timetable. So it takes a while for it to come to fruition. All right, well, let's see what happens here. Gonna roll a d4 here. Here, let me zoom in a little bit more, guys. I was looking at my stream there, and it looks a little hard for you guys to read. Okay. Here we go. 3. Uh-oh. Thendro. Thendro's suggestions lead to fiscal loss, so it is not a successful plan at first. Can't always go as easily as you'd hoped. Playing on the city's greed. Unfortunately, maybe it's due to Thendro's poor connections with the rest of the cult because of Olgenth. Maybe Olgenth is part of the reason that it fails. Anyway, unfortunately, Thendro is unable to succeed due to some early losses in his economic endeavors. All right, is there a plan B? Or you could ask Melium for assistance, or we could target a different city. It doesn't sound like Thendro's burned any bridges, just that his initial attempts were not heard. That's true. Although I think Elakar is more of an economic city. Yep. I think the other thing, though, is if we scroll back here, now, of course, you guys might not know this, tuning in more recently, is when the cult was first starting out, when it first started influencing cities and Ith began to come under its control, we had, where is this? Elakar. The city of Elakar took steps to stop its spread, particularly because of a powerful merchant lord, Tyrus of Elakar. So it's kind of fitting, I guess. Now, Barapatane managed to bankrupt this guy and send him on his way. But Tyrus of Elakar kind of indicates that the city, is a greedy city, So, yep. But I think, Corbo, if that's the play you want to take, they may value finances here and wealth, but an actual show of power could go a long way to sway them as well. So if you can demonstrate that there's some real power behind Melium now. All right, so I think Corbo, you want to go ahead and have Thendro ask Melium to interject, or are you just going to claim that Melium's back without any true sign of it? Okay. So Games with Kitty, what does Melium think of this? Will she use her powers to demonstrate that she's back? Or is she going to see this as Thendro failing his mission? Maybe Games with Kitty lost his internet again. Or their internet again, sorry. Promise him for his eternal loyalty she'd manifest a wonder for him. Okay. Yep. One way to ensure that his loyalty is if he's unable to succeed, but she can help him succeed. Then there you go. Then return back to Meliam to show the city that she is real and on his side. Meliam agrees, hoping to earn his eternal loyalty if she manifests a wonder for him. Okay, let me just copy Meliam's link here and drop that back in here somewhere. Gotta keep it all linked up for you guys so you can get around the site easily. All right, and I guess we got to figure out what this wonder will be. So a couple things I can think of. I'll let you just choose one, Games with Kitty, because you've got Meliam's the one doing this, so she can decide. So we have a few options of what some magical wonders could be. It could be like a plentiful harvest, like it could be she causes the fields and forests to bloom, and that would be perhaps a whole part of wealth for Elhokar. That could play to their greed as well. It could be that she, does something with the weather, summons a storm or dispels a storm. That would seem very powerful, of course. It could be that she does something with the undead. We established before she could, raise a graveyard, of revenant, kind of grunts that are just doing as she says. Could be she heals the sick, something like a miracle, a few other options there. Earns eternal loyalty if she messes a wonder for him. I was literally just thinking that she'd probably scare them of this false prophet and his sect by raising the dead and mass in the city. Sure. Well, this isn't the city where that guy is, but it would sure get back to him. He would hear about it. This would be. It is probably part of his. There probably is a connection there that they would hear about that for sure. So, Meliam used her formidable magic to raise the dead and mass from the city's graveyards. What about raising the bread? That's true. There is now bread roaming the streets of Elhokar. All hail Meliam, the god of bread. All right, in Elhokar, Meliam used her formidable magic to raise the dead en masse from the city's graveyards. Yes. From the city's graveyards. And parade them around the streets. How does Elhokar react? Fear and reverence. Fear and retaliation. So this could be attack they fight back against the undead, the unbred. Could be they send for Olgenth to put on a display of his own. They want to see what the other guy can do. What else could we have? All right. I think these are some good options. So I think it's quite likely that this does sway them. Like, wow, this is a really powerful person. Could be fear and retaliation. I think them fighting back is less likely because you haven't said that the undead are going to cause any harm. So it's not like they're being attacked. And then I think it wouldn't be super unlikely that if they're very devout of Olganth, they might believe Olganth can do this too. And so they would send for Olganth to say, well, our guy can do that. And then we have a showdown. All right, here we go. 3. No, they send for Olganth to put on a display of his own. Alright, in Elkhart, Mellium uses her formidable magic to raise the dead en masse from the city's graveyards and parade them around the streets. The city, though moved by this degree of power, believes... Yes, Olganth does worship Mellium. So we don't know yet how Olganth will react to hearing about this, but the people in Elkhart who also believe in Mellium and believe in Olganth, they're kind of like, what's going on here? Like, and they also would think that their guy, Olganth, who they know as the spokesperson for Mellium, maybe Olganth would say this is a, an imposter or something. So they want to know what their leader says about it. Believes Olganth may be able to do the same. There is not currently games with Kitty. If you'd like to associate a color with her, go ahead. The city, though moved by this degree of power, believes Olganth may be able to do the same. If Babacus comes around at some point, we had Barapatane running the cult for like 80 years or something. So we could say I may let Barapatane choose what color the cult was represented by then, and maybe their colors changed. Maybe Mellium declared her own when she came back. So we'll see. I will put in here. Let's see. What is this? This whole section is history. Oh, it's just an event, right? Okay. Let's put that on the page. There should be a page for this religion. The cult of Mellium? Yeah. The cult's emblem is purple for its royalty, mystery, sensuality, and death. There you go. Alright, in Elkhart, Mellium used her formidable magic to raise the dead en masse from the city's graveyards and parade them around the streets. The city, though moved by this degree of power, believes Olganth may be able to do the same, and sends for him. Does this, how does Mellium respond to this? Does she wait to see what Olganth will do, this other cult leader, and waits for him to come to her? Or is she angry at Elkhart for not recognizing her power outright? A couple options there. There could be, maybe she's like, I'm tired of this, and goes directly to Olganth. Confronts him. It's good. Good question. Chicken with rabies. Let me know games with Kitty if you want to clarify.